I think it's really managing urbanization. The world is urbanizing extremely rapidly, and I think that leaders all around the world are facing a lot of challenges in determining how to effectively respond to the massive urbanization that's occurring. So I think that the way that I think we can solve this is through the use of data. So we can collect data about processes happening within a city. Most cities are in the same core businesses, so water, transportation, emergency management, public safety, healthcare. The question is how do we leverage this large volume of data that's being produced within a city and use it really to change business processes in ways that are going to generate more results for citizens. I think we can do that, but it's going to require working a little bit differently across organizational boundaries. So I think leaders really need to be aware of the changes that need to be made, and they need to use data as a way to drive changes, engage citizens within the process, and really drive important performance improvements throughout city government in all sorts of areas that are very relevant to making a city more competitive, but as importantly, ensuring that citizens have a positive quality of life and the government's generating results for them. Well, I think city leaders are grappling with a lot of challenges now, and data really provides a solution. So city leaders are very much operating blind right now. They don't have an idea of what's happening in different parts of the city, and therefore how to manage more effectively for performance. So I think data is the most important natural resource that we're going to have going forward for managing cities. City leaders can use data to make evidence-based decisions, act proactively, respond to problems before they actually occur, and in doing so, I think they can make major improvements to areas that are critical for a city's function, such as transportation, public safety, emergency management, education, healthcare, and every other challenge or area that a city leader has to effectively develop solutions for. So I think data is going to be extremely important for city leaders, even more so going forward, because the amount of data that we've created in the last 2 years is actually more than the course of human history combined up until 2 years ago. And that amount of data is going to increase exponentially. So the question is what are we going to do with this data? How are we going to leverage it to make improvements in terms of how cities function and in terms of how they produce results for people? And I think city leaders and lines of business heads and cities around the world are really seeing the benefits of using data from a strategic point of view to drive performance improvement, and also to really set the basis for very important changes that need to occur within cities to produce better results for citizens. The private sector, I think, has a very important role to play. Us at IBM, we want to be an integral part of this conversation. We care about the communities that we live in. We care about the communities that we operate in. And I think that private sector innovation can be a very important complement to public sector innovation. IBM spends a lot of money on research and development in areas pertaining to smarter cities. And we want to continue to leverage that knowledge to work with cities around the world, with the United Nations, with the World Bank, with governments, with partner organizations to develop solutions for urbanization. It's a critical problem that the world's facing. The massive problems that we're facing in the world are going to be unfolding in cities, but the solutions are also going to occur in cities. So the private sector, IBM included, wants to play a very important role in that conversation in ensuring that we can effectively grapple with all the challenges that we have to face and leverage the best that we within IBM have to offer in terms of our technology, in terms of our consulting services, and in terms of being a convener to bring people together around the world to really talk about issues that matter. How are we going to solve these pressing urban challenges that the world is facing? We want to be a part of that conversation, and we're happy to do so.
Are we getting closer to getting smarter in the world?
I think we are getting closer to smarter cities. I think that people are increasingly coming to the realization that if you want to be economically competitive, you want to attract talent, you need to solve those underlying challenges that are inhibiting economic growth. So if you're talking about something like public safety that has a massive drag on gross domestic product and economic development. You're talking about transportation, which also has a massive negative effect on economic productivity. I think city leaders around the world are coming to the realization that current models need improvement. We need to do things better. We need to be smarter in terms of how we use data, how we use information. And I think that that's really catching on because it's worked. We can produce results. I think that we've developed ways of attacking and approaching urban problems in a repeatable fashion that can generate common value across time and space. So I'm very confident in the work that we've done, and I think city leaders are recognizing it, that you can use a common blueprint to create reductions in congestion by 25%, or to improve emergency response time by 25%, or to reduce water leakages by 20%. These are the things we're very focused on, where we're directing a lot of resources, a lot of our best minds to thinking about. And I think that the market is moving forward, and city leaders are increasingly enthusiastic about this, because the challenges are fantastically great and the stakes are very high. The future of the planet is going to be decided in cities. So we need to find a better business model for urban development. And we think that we're at the forefront of that work, working with cities around the world who are interested in really creating more economically competitive cities and better cities for people to live, work, and raise a family.